Hey guys, how you doing? Eric at SoCal Cigars. So I wanted to come back and do another video as promised in the Deadwood line. So as we talked about, there's 4 of them. And so today I'm going to do the Crazy Alice. So take a look at that guy. Now this one, as you can see, is a little torpedo shape. See if I can get that to focus in. So you see here, a little Crazy Alice action. And this is a little torpedo. So they're kind of hard to get out because it actually has a pigtail. So when you try to squeeze it out, it doesn't want to come out. So let's go ahead and see if we can't rip this guy. That's the only downside, I guess, to this. Okay, there we go. Again, cool graphics, cool wrapper, nice shape. Again, this one has almost like a little pigtail on it. And again, like the other 2 so far I've had, it also has that little overwrapping of leaf on the bottom to make it a little harder to light, but that's okay. See, again, both of the last 2, the Fat Bottom Betty and the Sweet Jane, both smell fantastic. This also smells fantastic. You can tell it's rich, oily. You can see this Maduro wrapper is really, really nice. It's really got like a patchy, chocolatey brown, really awesome looking cigar, and it smells fantastic. Construction looks perfect. I mean, really no complaints about this cigar whatsoever at this point. But again, Fat Bottom Betty to me was a hit. Sweet Jane, not so much. So I'm really curious to see what happens with Crazy Alice here. So on this one, because it's a torpedo, I'm going to go ahead and use a straight cutter. So I'm going to actually go old school, like I reviewed and talked to you guys last time about. This is the first cutter I ever got. So I'm going to go ahead and use this little, see, it's kind of cool. It's got like an angled guillotine look to it, single blade. Go ahead and try this one. So again, you always got to pay attention where the cap is so you don't cut too far down, but this has got quite a ways to go. So we're just going to snip the end off here. Cutter works. So we've got a nice straight little cut here. Let's go ahead and do a dry draw and see what we think. Oh yeah, perfect. Tastes good. Again, just like the others, it's got that sweet flavor from the outside of the wrapper. But again, I guess we won't know until we get into this thing what it's going to do. Oh, and of course, I know you're wondering the pairing today. Yes, I had to go old school. Mountain Dew again. So, pairing will be a Mountain Dew. Anyway, let's pre-light this sucker. And get past that first layer of wrapped over tobacco that they have on here. I like the looks of that. I think it's cool, and I don't know why they really do it other than maybe aesthetic reasons. It just does make it a little harder to light because you've got to burn through that original layer of tobacco that's folded over then to get down to the actual foot of the cigar. Yeah, so the same thing. I've got that hit of sweet from the wrapper, but again, just lit it. So let's draw easy on this thing. I'm gonna, as I talked about last time, I'm gonna do a puff through on the cigar to see if that helps with anything. So I blow through the cigar, technically, to get some of that initial light smoke out. I don't know if it really does anything, but I figure I'll try it and see if it works. Remember, nice easy draws, don't heat up the tobacco. Yeah, so that tastes pretty good. I'd say just my first couple hits, I already feel like this might be a little better than the last one, the Sweet Jane. Like I said, I'll argue that the way they fold that tobacco over in the front makes it a little more challenging to get lit properly. I think that when you have the actual foot of the cigar exposed, it's way easier. So I want to remind you guys, if you aren't familiar with smoking a torpedo-shaped smaller cigar, and I'd say this is true for cigarillos as well, keep in mind not to hotbox these things. Don't nail them too hard. Don't draw too fast, and don't draw too often. Go back to that 45 second to a minute rule. because you can really heat up this tobacco fast and then it tastes bitter. So really be cognizant. Moreover than like a bigger Robusto, even up to a Churchill, you don't have to worry about this as much. But with these little guys and these torpedo shapes, I really stay cognizant of not overheating this thing and not heating up the tobacco, because you'll kind of ruin the taste. So already, barely into this thing, I'm already getting like a chocolatey overtone to this thing, a little chocolate note, which is really nice. A little bit of that earthiness too, like on the Sweet Jane. But on the Sweet Jane, I didn't get anything like that kind of a hit of any kind of like a chocolate flavor, and this is coming through pretty quick. Do the do, man, I'm telling you. That sweet sugary flavor of the Mountain Dew in your mouth with that, I'm telling you, if you haven't done it, at least do it once. You can tell me I'm crazy then, but at least try it one time. Yeah, I'd say so far out the gate, this is already, I think this is already better than the Sweet Jane. I'm not sure it's going to be better than the Fat Bottom Betty, but I think it's a lot leaning more towards the Fat Bottom Betty range for me than it is the Sweet Jane. The Sweet Jane was just a little too harsh for me, and like I talked about, having that kind of tongue bite that you usually describe like a pipe tobacco. This doesn't have that at all. Yeah, that's what I'm getting so far. I'm getting that because I'm retrohaling. I'm trying to get some flavor to come through. Not just the flavor of your tongue, but getting the aromas that come through when you retrohale through your sinuses and your nose. And I'm definitely getting like a chocolatey tone to this thing that's really nice. And the draw is, perfect, because like I said last time, that the Sweet Jane, the draw almost seemed to tighten up and had really weird burn issues, which I didn't experience with Fat Bottom Betty. And so far, this Crazy Alice it's burning pretty good. I'm gonna have to argue it's probably gonna self-correct to see this side's a little high, but I'm really gonna say a lot of that has to do with not being able to light it well from the beginning because of that folded over tobacco that they put in front, and that really blocks the foot and really makes it kind of challenging to light. I don't know why they do that. I guess I do. Like I said, I think it's just probably for looks, but I'd rather almost just have a normal foot so you can light it better, because I think it might self-correct, but right now it's burning odd, and I wouldn't really blame the cigar for that because the construction seems great. So yeah, I'm almost now getting still that little overtone of chocolate, and I'm getting a little bit of a nutty flavor too, almost more like it's like I told you last time, a lot of times when it's a nutty flavor coming through, it's kind of almondy or walnutty. This is almost tasting like a walnutty, like a oaky. This is more on the, if this makes sense, it's on the fatter side of flavors, like oak and walnut, and it's kind of rich in that chocolate. It's all kind of, it tastes more rich, I guess that's the way to put it. But it's really smooth, it's really velvety, I'm not getting any bite. So far, really pleased, and I think it's starting to self-correct a tiny bit. Let me touch this up. Let me give it a little helping hand, if we will. So I have no issues with people doing this, just kind of making a little bit of an adjustment on your burn. Why not? If you're just going to knock down that edge and then just see if it self-corrects, no reason you can't give it a little push in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's really good. And again, this is going to be a much faster smoke, which is kind of cool too, because I think it's always nice when you find a line of cigars you like and they, offer a lot of different sizes. And when you get down to these little pyramid shaped ones like this reminds me exactly, and I'll put a picture of it up, of the Drew Estate Nasty. Similar shape, similar kind of dark Maduro wrapper. I'd say the only thing I experienced with the nasty that I wasn't too happy about was that it seemed, it's a really, if I recall, and I may be wrong, I'll have to really think about this, or maybe do another review, or maybe smoke another one to tell you accurately, but if I remember right, it was a really peppery, spicy flavor on that nasty acid, and I don't like that much. That's why I'm saying on this one, I'm getting a lot more creamy, chocolatey, maybe a oaky, nutty flavor. Really pleasant, and it's got a really pleasant aftertaste because like that Sweet Jane with that bite I was getting, I wasn't getting a very good mouthfeel. It was like almost like kind of a burnt feeling, where this almost feels like I've still got like a really pleasant light flavor that's left over as an aftertaste, and it's really pleasant. It's really nice because sometimes, you know, you can smoke a cigar and then you get that aftertaste for like a couple hours later, and you're like, oh, it's nasty. This isn't. This is a pleasant aftertaste. So that's another plus, I think, on this little stick. Yeah, it's staying consistent too. It's got good right away, and it's staying good. I'm actually still getting a tiny bit of sweetness off that wrapper too, which is kind of a pleasant surprise. Yeah, see, this is adding up to being a pretty good stick here. I think this, even not being that far into it yet, again, this would be a much faster smoke, but again, I'm only, you know, barely a quarter into this thing, and I would already argue I'll probably put this into my rotation. So anyway, let me get a little deeper into this, and then I'll come back and we'll see how this develops. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back, and we're actually already down to the wrapper, and it has not been very long. So I'm gonna go ahead and slip the band off, and you can see it's still burning a little wonky, even though I try to correct it, but it's not bad. But you can definitely, you know, see that it's just a little higher on one side, actually on the other side as well, but it's still, I mean, not bad. And here's what's interesting. This thing's for pretty complex little cigar. The chocolatey note is now kind of gone to the back. Still there a little bit, but not as prominent. Still kind of have that oaky, nutty flavor. But you know what else has come through, which I found surprising, was clove. I don't know if any of you remember, like I do, DeJarm clove cigarettes back in the day. I got that clove flavor coming through, which I thought was odd. It didn't seem to last long. It's still there a little bit, but it kind of came all at once. I was like, wow, okay, that tastes like clove cigarettes. That's from a long time ago. I was like, what a blast from the past, but that was kind of cool. And it's all settled into being pretty subtle in the background. So I'd say this is a pretty complex little cigar for what it is. So, you know, we've gone from like a sweetness to a chocolatey to the nutty, kind of walnutty, oaky, and a little bit of clove. I mean, there's a lot to this little tiny torpedo stick here. And it's burning a little wonky, but and look at that, it's already self-corrected just since we've been talking this last couple of seconds here. So, you know, arguably this is a good stick. I mean, I would say that this would fit the bill perfectly for me, especially riding, you know, a Harley and oftentimes we stop for pretty quick stops. You know, sometimes what we call a bio break, where you basically stop to pee and you fill up your tank, because we can only go about 140 miles per tank. So a lot of our trips are based on gas station to gas station to gas station. You know, but every once in a while you will want to, you know, stay at a gas station a little bit longer. You know, maybe get a little snack, you know, fill up, use the restroom, you know, have a drink, like a soda or something or whatever, coffee, get some caffeine in you. And it's just enough time where everyone kind of wants to light up a smoke. But you know, like me, I've tried really hard to ride and smoke a cigar. And I've even got a cool little holder for a cigar on my handlebars that I showed you in another video, the different tools. But I have a hard time with it because it just blows in the, blows in your face, and the ashes are flying all over the place. And I don't know, I got some of my buddies do it. I don't know how the hell they do it, but I just can't seem to get it down very well. So I don't really smoke and ride. So for me, something like this would be perfect for one of our little bio breaks to go ahead and just chill and just have a pretty quick smoke. I mean, this thing, I only really paused the video for maybe 5 minutes before I got right down to the band. And as this thing tapers down, it's going to get even quicker. So this is not going to be a very long smoke. So this fits that niche perfectly for being a very flavorful cigar. Perfect construction, really rich and really satisfying little cigar to have in a short amount of time that isn't a huge commitment. So this is going to fit the bill perfect. I will definitely be getting a box of these. So far out of the 4 Deadwoods, we have 1 to go. Fat Bottom Betty, massive hit. Sweet Jane, not in my wheelhouse. This Crazy Alice, totally in my wheelhouse with the dew. Nectar of the gods. Yeah, you'll dig it. I'm telling you, for any of you, especially friends of mine that I talk to a lot, Elia, this is for you. Get the Crazy Alice, because if you like that Fat Bottom Betty, man, you're gonna dig this one. This is a great smoke, and it's a quick smoke, which is fantastic because we have a tendency to get in these habits of buying all the same size cigars. In fact, I had a friend of mine who used to always buy everything was a Churchill, everything was like a 7-incher, and you can't commit to that. And I'm telling you, I've never successfully been able to do this. I can't stop smoking a cigar and cut it and then try to relight it hours later. It just tastes like crap. I don't know. I've never found a good way. I've actually seen videos on how you're supposed to be able to cut it and wrap the end with plastic and all these weird things. To me, once you start smoking a cigar, you need to push through it, be done, and then move on. Trying to save them for later, it just ain't happening. What I would say the better way to go is to pick the appropriate size stick for the amount of time that you have available to you, and this fits that bill for me perfectly. And maybe for situations you're in as well too. Could be you're in a car club, could be you travel, could be a smoke break at work. This is something you could have during a half-hour lunch at work. So this makes this cigar a lot more accessible for more situations than a big stick would. And look at that. This is beautiful. Smoke output is fantastic. The ash is killer. It's completely self-corrected, that's pretty level. The flavor has not gotten bitter or anything, because a lot of times, with being a short smoke, pretty quickly that back half of the cigar can become like the filter and taste, bitter and crappy. Oh, it's still great. Yeah, man, it's really consistent. This thing's not... Because I've noticed that cigars either change for the better or they change for the worse. It's not often you find cigars that stay really consistent, but this is really consistent. Because a lot of times what I found is cigars will start out great, and then as you continue to smoke, they start getting bitter, and it seems to me like a lot of times the taste will start at kind of like a bell curve. Kind of starts here and then just slowly starts to gradually drop off. I'm telling you, so far this thing is staying very consistent. It started out great and it's staying great. So that's a huge plus in my book as well. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. Anyway, a lot of times I don't smoke these all the way down because I'm not a big fan of smoking to the nub anyway, and I don't think they'll change much. But I'm going to go ahead and pause this one more time because I actually want to get down to this one and see if there's some point where this thing turns crappy or gets wonky on me. But so far, man, it's great. So let's pause one more time. I'll get a little deeper into this thing and come back and we'll do our final wrap up and see what we think here. So hang tight. Okay, well, let's wrap this one up here. Look at that. Construction's still great. Burn is still great. Smoke is still great. Flavor's still great. This thing didn't change, man. This thing is just killer. The chocolatey stuff from the beginning kind of went to the back. The nutty, walnutty, oaky flavor was consistent all the way through. That last bit of clove that came on halfway through, that kind of stayed. That's a really nice touch. So this is, I'm telling you, for this little stick, man, this is pretty complex, and the construction is fantastic. I can't complain. I mean, this is great. So I'd say if you liked the Fat Bottom Betty, you'll like this. Get this for sure. You'll dig it. I promise you that. And this is going to really fit that niche that I'm in, where I really can use a shorter duration smoke on occasion, given the things that I do and the hobbies I'm in. So this fits the bill perfectly for those situations. So looks like Crazy Alice, you and I can be friends. Gonna be getting a box of these for the Humi for sure. So I would say maybe go do that. Check it out. I think you'll be happy. Anyway, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Not that there's much left. This is basically Sunday evening. I'd say give this a go. If you could, like, subscribe, comment on this video, and that always helps me out, and I appreciate it. And until next time, enjoy, and maybe grab one of these suckers and Mountain Dew maybe too. All right, we'll see you next time.